We have to discuss today about the basic processing unit. So our discussion will be focused on uh, how a processor execute the instruction and how the internal functional units of a processor and how they are interconnected. We have to discuss about the instruction execution in single bus. Also, we have to discuss about the instruction execution in multibus and also the control steps that is generated or that is required for instruction execution while we are executing in single bus and multibus. So first we have to discuss about the single bus organization. So single bus organization means in this type of organization a single bus is used, and bus, what is a bus? Bus is nothing but the group of wires through which the information are transmitted. So this is called internal bus because in CPU there are two types of buses. One is called what connects the different functional units inside the processor as well as the register. All this thing is called internal bus, and the bus which is used to connect from processor to the external unit like say, system some IO buses or control uh, support chips, that is called external buses. So this typical bus organization consisting of different registers, ALU, then and the different registers as well as decoder and encoder circuits. So we have to discuss one by one. So this is the program counter. Program counter is a type of special purpose register. It holds the starting address or address of the instruction where the CPU will execute the instruction. The content of the PC will be the memory location where the instruction is available. This is a type of special purpose register. Then it is memory address register and this is memory data register. These are the two registers that are associated with the memory. This memory address register allocate the location in the memory, and the data can be retrieved from the memory to data register or data can be written to memory through by the help of data register. So data register is connected to system bus of the processor and the memory bus of the memory. Then this is Y is a temporary register and this is connected to the, this is the multiplexer. So one of the unit input to the multiplexer is Y, and this is two input multiplexer, or it is takes one input from the Y and another input it takes from the value constant 4, and this multiplexer select line select between the constant 4 and Y, and it will provide the uh, data to the port A of the ALU. The role of the ALU is to perform arithmetic and logic operation, arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and logic operation like addition, logically add or not, XOR, all these logic operations. So this ALU operation, the output will be available at register Z. So Z is another temporary register. So this Y, Z, and temp. This is the temporary register. These are three temporary register. They are called transparent register because they are not visible to the user. Only CPU uses it for internally while it execute the instruction. So these three are different type of register. One is called Y, one is called Z, one is called temporary. And this register R0 to Rn-1, n number of registers. These are called general purpose register. The purpose of this general purpose register is they are used to store the data. Whenever one instruction is executed, the operand we can place the operand in the register. Also, we can read the content from the register. So there are we are frequently using this general purpose register in the instruction execution. And this instruction register, memory data register, MAR, as well as program counter, these are called special purpose registers. They perform a specific task and they exclusively executing that task only. So that means they are coming under the category of SPR or special purpose registers. PC, MAR, MDR, IR, these are called falling under the category of special purpose register. Then this is the instruction decoder and control logic. The role of the instruction decoder and control logic is to generate different control signals. So while we are executing an instruction, there are different control signals are generated. We'll come to these control signals later part of this talk. These control signals are generated at the appropriate time, so the instruction can be executed successfully. So we'll discuss so many control signals. These control signals are basically generated by the instruction decoder and control logic. So from this single bus architecture, it is clear that the bus is connected to the registers, bus is connected to the ALU, and bus is connected to the instruction encoder and decoder. Then information comes from register to any other register, and from register to bus to the ALU, and result available at the register, and it is written to another location as per the instruction. So this is the description about the single bus organization, and more detail of the single bus we have to discuss while we have to focus on a particular typical example for instruction execution. Now coming to single bus organization and describe among the different ports. All the register mentioned in the single bus architecture like your PC, MAR, MDR, IR, R0, R1, R2, Y, all are register, and this register are associated with two type of control signals. And then one of the control signals is called in, and one of the control signal is called out. So when the control signal is in, if you look at the image, it is written that this register is when it is this R0 signal is in, or when this RI in signal is activated. That means the whatever the content is there in the bus, the information can be written back to the register when the signal RI is in. In the same way, if the information is there in register and I want to deliver that to bus, then I have to select this output port of this register as one, or I have to say that RI out. So through these two port, a register can be we can put the information to register, or we can take the content back to the bus. So these are the use of the input and output port of for the registers. So all the register there are they are used for this purpose, and basically in the register Y we are only using Y in, because this Y in we are feeding to the multiplexer, and multiplexer consider the value between the Y in and constant 4. That means either it will select 4 or it will select Y, and that will be available to at port A of the accumulator. And another input from the ALU will obtain through the bus directly. So the two operand which is to be required to be performed by the executed by the ALU to be available at A by the help of Y, or by the help of bus directly at B, and for the result that will be performed by the operation performed the ALU will be uh, to be available at Z through the input port Z in. and once the data is available to Z in, it can be delivered through the Z output to the buses, and from the buses it can be to the any of the GPR as mentioned by the as per the requirement of the instruction. So this way all the registers they are connected, and here one important parameter about a particular register is MDR. In MDR it is typically 4 port. MDR has 4 port. One is to for your system bus, like that MDR in, and one is called MDR out. And two are for external system memory bus. So that may be represented as MDR in external, and I may write it as MDR out external. So other than MDR, all other registers are basically 2 port, but MDR is represented through 4 port because MDR, that register is connected to the system bus and connected to the memory bus. Now coming to the instruction execution. So when instruction execution takes place by the CPU, the instruction is available at memory. The and CPU read the content of the program counter for that purpose. But here we are telling about the different type of instruction execution, and this instruction can be executed by the help of a register. That means here it is, we are assuming that the operation that to be performed by the register, perform the instruction, can be a register to register operation, or can be memory to register based operation, or can be register to memory bus operation, or can be a typical branch instruction. So this way instruction execution in single bus architecture we can categorized. So register to register means the source operand as well as the destination operand both are registered. And in the fetching the word from the memory means we are fetching a particular word and we are placing or taking that memory from memory to any other location, it may be to the register. And a reverse mechanism is the storing the memory from the register to memory. So we have to discuss one by one. So first we have to discuss register to register operation. So what happened in this type of approach? ALU perform the operation on the two operands applied through the input port A and input port B. Already it is explained. A is connected to the multiplexer, which can select either constant 4 or value y, and B is taken from the system bus itself, and one of the operand is obtained through multi, already it is I have told, and result is stored back to the register, temporary register temp, that is your Z register. So when we are writing to the Z, it will be written to Z by the help of Z in, and when we are taking the result back to the some destination location, we are using the control signal at Z out. This already it is mentioned that we have to uh, take this, we have to put the output in Z by the help of Z in, and we have to take the output from the Z by the help of Z out. Now let's start with one example, and how the execution part in this particular given example can be executed in the single bus architecture. So the instruction, the interpretation of this instruction is the addition of two register, and the result is written at another register. So this means whatever the value the register R1 contain will be added to the register R2, and this resultant of addition will be stored in the register R3. That is the meaning of the this instruction is. So That means already the R1 contains some value, R2 contains some value. I will perform the addition operation on these R1 and R2, and finally once the after the ALU operation take completed, the resultant means the addition will be delivered from the Z out to R3. That is the meaning of this one. So how to represent here I will the complete instruction execution step we will discuss later. I am only focusing on the execution part. So I have to first read the R1. So R1 means already the information is there. So I will not write to R1. So I will read from the R1. So for that I have to write R1 out, means the output port of the R1 will be activated. That means it will be written R1 out, and this will be provided to register Y, and Y is a part of the multiplexer and through which it connected to the port A of the LU. So the contents from the register 1 will be transferred to the register Y through the help of system bus. Then I have to write this content is available to Y. Then this second operand content I will be delivered. So I have to write R2 out, and then I have to select this Y, and I have to write select Y. Then I have to add these two. So operation will be add, and it will be written where? It will be written to the input port of the Z, register Z. So the first line meaning is the content presently available R1 will be delivered to Y by the help of R1 out and Y in. Now that content is available at register Y. In the second step, I transfer the content of the register 2 and select the Y which hold the R1, and instruction to be executed is addition, and the result will be available at Z, input port of the Z. And once it is available at register Z, then I have to write Z out, and I will write to the destination register. What the destination register is? This is your R3, and it will be in. So this way, these three are the control step for executing the given instruction. If if I will not use this third register, if my instruction is add R1 R2, and it meaning is the content of the R1 will be added to R2 and it will be written at R2. In that case, in place of writing here R3, I have to replace the code of this R3 by R2 in. This is the only change I have to make if I will remove the register R3. So this is the register to register operation where the source as well as destinations are registers. Now move to the next example. This is coming under the second category. That means it is fetching a word from the memory. That means what is available in the memory and I have to fetch it. So the instruction example I have considered here it is move whatever the values identified by the help of register. It is a location in the memory where the operand is available, and that operand will be moved to the register R2. This is the meaning of this instruction. So it is a type of indirect addressing mode. So in such case I have to already what I have to read the R1 which is holding the address of the operand, that is that address is a memory address. So I have to write R1 out. I have to write R1 out, and this to be provided to memory address register because this is a memory location. This what R1 hold, that is a location in the memory. So I have to write MAR in. That means whatever the value was there in R1, now it is delivered to the MAR, and my action will be I have to perform the read operation. So this is my step 1. And once this step is complete, then this location, what is presently available at MAR, that content from that location, the information will be delivered to be available at MDR. So I have to write MDR in. I have to write MDR in, and as the content from memory to MDR will be delivered, it will be done by the help of external bus. So I have to write MDR in capital E, and once it is available at MDR in, then this content will be delivered to the MDR out. This out means the content of this MDR will be, by the help of MDR out signal, it will be delivered to the buses. And this step I cannot start till this previous operation is completed. So I have to insert one signal, or I have to mention one signal, that is called wait for memory function to complete. That instruction or control step I have to mention in this second step. And once the data is available at MDR, then I have to transfer the data to register R2. So for that I have to write R2 in. So once again repeating, the content is in a register. I have to transfer that to memory because I have to access that memory location, and I perform the read operation. And once it is that location is identified through MAR, I have to transfer the content from that location to data register through the external bus of the memory bus, and I have to wait till this operation completes. And once it is there in the external bus and it will be available for system bus, I have to write MDR out. And once it is available through MDR out, I can place the data in the register as per the instruction, because my instruction indicate says to perform this content or read the content of the memory location identified by R1, and that information to be placed to the register R2. So this is the second type of example which we specified as fetching a word from the memory. Now coming to the reverse mechanism. What the reverse mechanism is? The reverse mechanism is, that means the content presently available at register R1 to be written or to be moved to the location, to the memory location, and that location is represented through register R2. So R2 holds the address of the memory location where I have to place the content of the register R1. So this is called storing a word to the memory. And what the step I have to write? So I have to read the memory first. So I have to write what? I have to write R2 out. I have to write up to out, and I will place this in MAR in. I have to place this in MAR in. Then in the next step, I have to write first one. What is that? R1 out. Then I have to write MDR in. Then I have to write write. Why? Now because that content of the R2 available at MAR, and the content of R1 which will be written to the memory, that must be available at data register, and once it is available at data register, the action to be done is write operation. Then in the next step I have to write, that is what? Who will write it? Now MDR out external bus will write it. So I have to write MDR out external, and I have to wait for the memory function to complete. So the control signal I have to write is wait for memory function to complete. So this way a particular word which is already in the memory to be written back, the content of a particular register to be written back to the memory, and that address is identified through a register. So it is a type of indirect mode of addressing. So next is mm, uh, we have to discuss about the complete instruction execution. So what so far we have discussed are basically execution part. So now we have to discuss how a particular instruction to be executed. So we have to discuss about the instruction fetch, we have to discuss about the instruction decode, and we have to discuss about the instruction execution. So now we have to discuss about the complete instruction execution. So in complete instruction execution, first the instruction is available. This is the instruction. This instruction is available in a memory location, and that address of the memory location is available in PC. So the step what we are following, first the content of the PC, the content of the PC, content of the PC will move to the IR. That means the content of the PC will be delivered to MAR, and from the MAR it will be, MAR will identify the location, and the content of that location will be delivered to MDR, and from MDR to IR. So this is the step 1. The step 2 is your PC value will be updated to next level, that is PC will be PC plus 4. And third step is your execution, decoding as well as execution, decoding and execution. So a program instruction initiate by reading the content of the PC. So reading the content of the PC means PC will be out, means the content of the PC will be out, and this will be loaded to MAR. So MAR in. So this is PC. So whatever the content in the PC, that will be delivered to the MAR by the help of what? By the help of your system bus. So I have to write PC out and MAR in. And what the operation to be done in the memory? So this is a read operation. So this part is for transferring the content of the PC to MAR and performing the read operation. The remaining control sequence in the step 1 are basically used selecting the 4 from the multiplexer and selecting the control signal addition for ALU operation, and the result to be available at ZIN. That basically the content of the PC will be available to location port B, and port A will select 4, and the ALU will perform operation, arithmetic operation addition, and the PC plus 4 will be available at register Z in the step 1. So now that PC plus 4 which is already in the register Z will be transferred to PC. So content of the Z out will be delivered to PC. So now PC updated to PC plus 4. This step is completed here. This step is completed here. And then we are using wait for memory function to complete, because we are performing MAR operation, and this MAR operation content will be available to MDR. That is object. That means what we are selected through content of the PC, that starting address of the instruction is presently on MAR, that will be that content values to be delivered to MDR out, and I have to wait a waiting function called wait for memory function, and once that is available, that content identified through MAR is available at MDR, and it will move to the IR for decoding purpose. So it is IR in. So these three steps is common for all type of instruction execution. So irrespective of the branch instruction or irrespective of the non-branch instruction, this step 1, step 2, step 3 must be same. This three step is known as phase cycle. Now, uh, now we have to discuss about the execution part. Once instruction is decoded, then it came to know that it is a addition operation. Add the content of R1 with R2. So that part already we have discussed. How I have to write R2 out and Y in for this one. Then I have to write R2 out and select Y. Then add and Z in. Then I have to write Z out and R2 in. So same thing is written here. I have to content of the R1 to be out, control signal will leave out, and it will be placed in uh, temporary register Y, and Y is nothing but the multiplexer input. It will be available at port A of the ALU, and in the next step I have to select R2 out, and I have to select Y, which is represent the R1, and ALU will perform the addition operation, and the result will be input through the register Z by the help of Z in signal. And now the Z in or Z register Z, which already got the addition of the register R2 with R1, will be delivered to the register R2, which is my destination register, by the help of system bus, and this execution will be completed. So if we will come to know about the control steps, it takes in total 6 number of control steps. And out of these 6 number of control steps, step 1, step 2, step 3 is most common, and it is required for all type of the same control steps will be for all type of instruction. Only the step 4 onwards will be changed. It will be according to the example we have to use. So this is a typical example we are using for execution of the complete instruction. So next we have to discuss about the another example. So if you look at the example, so this is a addition operation uh, between the register is identifying a location which is nothing but a memory location, and that memory location to be written at register. So it is just like accessing a word from the memory, and we are writing that word to the register R1. So R3 basically showing the value, that value is a memory location, and whatever the content of that location to be added to the register. So we have to understood this example the way we have understood the fetching a word from the memory. So let's start this example. This PC out, MAR in, read, select for add Z in, is it for instruction fetch. This is for instruction fetch, this is for instruction fetch. So these three are common, so no need for the explanation. So I have to start from here. So R3 showing the memory, so this information to be out and it will be inserted to MAR. So I just mentioned the same thing. R3 out, contents I have to read from the R3, and that contents will be available to MAR by the signal MAR in, and the operation to be a read operation. That means the content of R3 available at MAR and is a read operation. Once I read the first operand, and that is nothing but a memory operation, I have to read the second uh, register, that is R1 out, and I have to place the R1 in register Y. And as I have used memory access and I have to retrieve the data to data register, so that I have time, I have to wait for it. So I inserted the wait function that is called wait for memory function to complete. Here I select MDR out. That means the location identified through R3 will be the content of that location will be available at MDR, and I select the value of R1 through Y, and I use the control signal called add, and the result is written at available Z. And once it is available at Z, then I can place that result to the register as per the example or as per the instruction I have taken. So this it takes how many steps? Task 3 is for fetch 4, 5, 6, 7. So in total it generates 7 control steps, and in each control step there are different control signals are generated for execution of the particular task. So this way this instruction takes 7 number of steps to perform the complete instruction execution. Now let's consider the example for branching. So the concept behind branching is that when an instruction is fetched and when it is decoded, if there is a branch instruction, then the control moves to, if the branch instruction that is taken or considered, then that control move to the address specified through the branch. Then your execution will take from that branch address. So this is the and once that branch execution completed, it returns. So this your MDR out, MR in, read, select for, add, Z in, Z out, PC in, Y in, these are for what? Instruction phase, same it is. When the instruction is available to IR and this is decoded and came to know that it is a branch like jump to L1, then it computes the offset field of the IR out. That means from the instruction register IR, it computes the offset field. That means offset field means the representation for offset field is that, so the branch target address or branch address, the difference between the branch target address and the present content of the PC. So present content of the PC, what initially PC was holding a value, but when that content is transferred to MAR, the PC updated to next value. So if I will take one example, so let's start with example like this. Initially my PC holds the value 200, then PC updated with value 200 plus 4, that is 204. And let's consider offset field or branch address is your 300. Branch address is 300. Then the offset field of the IR out can be computed as the difference between the branch address and the PC content. So 300 minus 204, so that is 96. So offset field of the IR out will be considered as how much? It will be considered as 96. So this 96 will be added with whom? With the contents of the PC. What are the contents of the PC? This is my PC content, that is 204. How 204 will be available? 204 will be available through system bus at your port number B, and it will be performed by through addition operation, and the result will be placed in ZIN. And once the result will be placed in ZIN, now I have to write another step, that is I have to write Z out and PC in. That means, so offset value is 96, PC value is 204, so Z out hold 300, which is nothing but the branch address. So that means that branch address is updated in the PC. So ultimately, we have to understood that now PC holds the new address, that is your branch address. So this is a typical example to explain the concept of unconditional branch. Now let's consider another example where we have to discuss about the execution of branch, and it is a type of conditional branch. So in this case, we have to check the status of the condition code. condition code is nothing but the status flag stat flag register concept, and we have to load the new value to PC. For example, if the branch is negative, the instruction 4 in the previous example will be replaced by we have to replace by we have to this in here we have to replace by offset field of ir out add z in. Then I have to write if n is equal to 0 0, then end. That means if the value of n is 0, the processor will return to the step 1 immediately after the step 4. Otherwise means if the value of n is equal to 1, it will move to the step 5 to update the PC. So this way I put a condition to check to which location the control will move, whether it will move to the step 1 or it will move to the step 5. That depend upon the condition, and this condition we are checking through condition codes. So this is the example we can use for conditional jump statement, where we have to check whether a branch is taken or a branch is not taken. Now we can have one more example to understood. This is a typical example it where it is a memory operation, but it will be decremented first. So whatever the register, whatever the value it is sourced through register 3 R3 to be decremented first, and we have to consider that value which is a memory location, and that content from that location to be added to the register. That means if the R3 showing a particular value, that value to be decremented first, then whatever the decremented value, that is a memory location. Now what is the content in that location, that content to be added to the register R1 and it will be placed in the register R1. So this is the meaning or interpretation of this example. So what I have to write? So I have to first read this location by the help of what? Memory register, and then once it is I access through the memory access memory address register, then I have to read the content through data register and transfer to R1. But before that, the register must be decremented. So I have to start with the step 1, step 2, step 3. It is the common step for instruction fetch. Then I have to start with R3 out, and I have to select 4 because I have to subtract it, and that subtract result will be available in register Z. So what R3 hold, that will be subtracted by 4, and operation is subtraction, and it is will be available in ZIN. And once it is available in Z, then that content will be delivered to the MAR for to identify to that location, and here the operation is read because MAR means read operation. And finally what MAR hold, that content of that location will be available at MDR out. Ultimately, so I have to say that after decrement operation, that location will be available to MAR and that location content will be available to MDR, and by the time the register R1 will be out and available at Y in, and that Y will be selected in the this step. So MDR out, which will hold the initial value of R3 after decrement, that value, and Y value which represents the value for R1, they will be added by the LU, and the result will be available at Z. And once the result is available at Z, then it will be returned to the register as per the requirement of the instruction, and it is the main destination register. So this way the control step executed by decrementing the register and then moving the content of the performing the addition from the location identified by the register after decrement to the register mentioned in the instruction, and it takes 8 control steps. So this type of so a processor execute this different type of instructions, and they may, just as per our discussion, they may be a register to register based, or reading from the memory, or it can be uh, writing to the memory. So this is all about the single bus architecture. Let's have a discussion on the multi-bus organization. So multi-bus, in multi-bus organization, multi-bus basically consisting of more number of buses. In previous example, we have single bus, a set of bus, data address and control, but that is a single set of buses, that is called system bus. But here it is considered three buses: bus 1, bus 2, bus 3, or bus A, bus B, and bus C. So these three buses, it may be more than this, but for complexity point of view, basically in this example it is considered as 3, and it is also considered that the input is provided through bus A and B, and output is taken through bus C. So we have to discuss the changes or internal structure of the multi-bus system. So PC as it is there, but only one change is that a incremental circuit is associated with PC to update the content of the PC without updating through the accumulator. So this is one enhancement achieved in multi-bus. And the next is called all the registers are combined together to form a register file, and they are connected to the buses, means bus A, bus B, and bus C. Then multiplexer is there, providing the input to a port of the accumulate ALU, and a bus is connected to the B port of the ALU, and in place of Z, the register ALU write back the register to the bus. It is typically the third bus. So this way ALU takes the input from multiplexer, that is here from A, another bus from B, then it write to C. So A and B are basically used by the accumulator for input, and C is used to write back the result. So instruction decoder encoder circuit is there to decode the instruction. Already the register IR is there as it is, and MDR and MAR are there to access the memory by the help of MAR, and the data to be retrieved or to be loaded to location through the help of MDR. So this is the typical structure of a multi-bus organization. And if we'll compare the single bus and multi-bus organization, then you can find number one changes is that here it is more number of buses are there. Rather than one bus, we have more number of buses, number one. Number two, the PC can be updated in the same clock cycle after delivering the content to the MAR. There is no requirement of performing the updation through ALU. Number third, the multiplexer still have a constant 4 value even if it is not used by the program counter, but we can use this constant 4 for other purposes. And number 4, the A and B port of the ALU takes the input from the bus A and B and write the result back to the bus C. And the registers may have more number of port in comparison to the single bus architecture. So this is the basically structure of the multi-bus structure, and all modern processor nowadays they supports multi-bus organization. Now let's have a example how a control sequence or how a complete instruction execution takes place in multi-bus system. So instruction execution starts by reading the content of PC. So the PC value will be PC out, and it will be loaded to MAR as it is. What only difference is you have to mention the through which bus. you have to mention r is equal to a means this takes place by the help of a or this takes place by the help of the bus b. So in this example, it is assumed that bus b is used to transfer the content of the PC to MAR so that MAR will identify the memory location where the instruction is available and the operation to be done or read as a read, and once it is deliver content to MAR, incrementer of the associated with program counter can increase or increment the content of the PC. So now PC updated to next value. So this done in the same clock cycle. Then as you are reading from the memory, you may have some waiting time that will be used. For that we are using wait for memory function to complete signal, and once that waiting time and once that information is available at MDR, and we are using register B because we mentioned the bus as B, and that content from MDR will be written to IR. That means ultimately the content of the PC transferred to MAR, and by the help of MDR the information from that location identified by MAR available at IR. So instruction phase completes. Once instruction phase complete in multibus, the remaining step can be done in 1 or 2 step maximum. If it is memory operation, we may go for more number of steps. If it is register operation, it may be completed in 1 step. So I have to add this to register and I have to write in the third register. So what I have to write? I have to write R1 out and I have to write R2 out by the help of bus A, by the help of bus B, and I have to select A. The operation is addition, and I have to write R3 in. That means the content of R1 and R2 by the help of bus A and B will be added and it will be written at R3. So this way the multibus execute the instruction, and all the examples so far we have discussed, like whether it is register to register operation or like it is a fetching a word from the memory or writing a word to the memory, can be done in multibus, and it may be executed with less number of control steps. So this is the basic description about the single bus and multibus, and almost now all the processor we are using today they uses multibus, but in the same time multibus operation is costly and complex.